Alright, so we're finally starting to work on Unreal. I've got a couple of tutorials for y'all to get you going. So we're starting Epic Games Launcher. When you boot it up, you'll start here, usually at the store. So we want the Unreal Engine. Library is where your old projects would be. Any assets that you have are going to be here in the Fab library. Some of them you will add to your project. Other ones you need to install directly into the engine or create a project based around it completely. So there's lots of different options. Like usual, I have way too many. The other part of these, at least library-wise, it's going to show. So as you can see here, so this is something that I've got the Farm Animals pack. It's compatible with Unreal Engine 4.15 through 5.5, and of course we've upgraded to 5.61, and it's not currently compatible. It's not even a you can't use it, or like you can. It's not supported, but you can still use it. Literally, you can't do anything with it. So until those either update or they don't, they're not going to be compatible with anything currently. So that's right. Hopefully they'll upgrade. So when you launch your Unreal Engine, it's going to go through a process. Hopefully we'll actually get there. So many firewall issues. Alright, so that's going to boot up and jump to the Unreal Editor. Which goes through its initializing process, and I will restart this video when it initializes the rest of the way, so I'm going to pause. Alright, and then eventually you're going to run into your Unreal Project browser. You have your recent projects. The number here, 5.2, that is the version number. So once again, we are using 5.61. We're going to, through it, you've got the ability to obviously just start like a blank project, but you also have a lot of kind of pre-builts. So pre-builts for games, you got first-person games, third-person, top-down, vehicle, VR, AR, film and video, architectural based, automotive, and simulations. So there's a lot built in for it. We're going to obviously go with games, and for this we're going to do a third person. Looks like they've got a new starting area. I'm kind of excited about this. They've been the same for so long. So when you start it up, Blueprint, you have a choice between Blueprint or C++ on how you're doing your coding. We're going to do Blueprint. Target platform will be desktop. We can do maximum, that's fine. We're not going to worry about variant. I do not have room for this. So we are going to put this in a different drive. that's what it was. All right, we're gonna put it, store it there, and we're gonna just call this 500, 400 start. Yeah. Of course, and it has to start with that, so we're gonna call it GIMM 400 start. All right, we're gonna hit create. Creating the project actually usually goes pretty quick. So hopefully it's not going to make a liar of me. I think I totally put the wrong one in there. That's all right. Yeah. I do not know why I was thinking 621. Totally not. 5.61. Used to get the one right. As usual, shaders tend to be one of the slowest and longest things to load. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video again so you don't have to sit here and watch all those shaders load. Alright, so finally loaded. The last about 300 shaders took forever, but we made it. Alright, so here is our environment. It loads up in. I'm looking around by holding down Alt and left mouse button. We have in here, obviously, you got your save. We can browse. This is where we can add to the project a lot of different things. Imported content, stuff from Fab, some basics. We have just our regular shapes. So lots of different things here. There's just quick add-ins that you might need. This is going to be blueprint related, which we'll go over that later. Levels. The cool thing is, like, there's nothing we really need to do. We can literally hit play, and we are in the game. So I clicked into the scene, and now I have my mouse control here. But I've got ability to jump. I don't know what other fun. But we have this fully playable little simulation here. Once you're in here, I can't jump out. How sad. So from this environment, it'll show you up in that corner, Shift F1 to get your mouse back. Allows you to get your mouse, and then we can pause there. The scroll wheel shows zooming in and out. You can also Alt and right click, moving in and out as well. You have here the flag with the controller. This shows a spawn point, so that can be moved obviously wherever you would like it to be. So if we said, hey, I don't want to spawn there, I would rather spawn in midair over here. Hey, look, I spawned in midair over there. Control Z backs up, undoes it. Our outliner is basically the same as the inspector, or our hierarchy. Then we have inspector here, coming down into more of this section. A lot of options that are hidden in different drop downs and menus. So that becomes probably one of the trickiest things with Unreal, is making sure you have the right things clicked, so that you can actually interact with them, including physics related things. You want to, collisions, you need to actually click to generate hit events, otherwise it's not going to do anything with those. So, like I said, a lot of different parts, and you gotta click to turn simulate physics on. So yeah, so there's a ton that kind of goes into this. All right, just curious what fun things are actually in this one. Not nearly as much exciting stuff as what there used to be. Not a surprise. All right, so that's going to change a little bit of what I normally do during my demo for this, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so what other things I want to make sure I show you here? We have our folders. We got blueprints. You'll notice a naming convention on a lot of things. BP underscore is a blueprint. M is a material. Mesh is our static mesh, so SM. Textures are T. So they've got a lot of naming conventions that are used and important. SK, skeleton, SKM, skeletal mesh, I believe, if I remember right. Alright, so we've got lots of fun different parts. You've got our ability to rotate, you've got your different perspectives. We can switch to lighting to unlit. We can do wireframes if we want to see all the wire for the frames and everything in the mesh. A lot of quick, easy pieces. You can make stuff fully reflective, which is absolutely crazy. We can turn on collisions. So lots of different things to help you as you're going through it. We'll just go back to regular lit. The eye shows visibility, so if it's open, it is visible. If you close the eye, it is now not visible. So that is there. This is all the content. We have the content drawer, which is kind of basically the same thing as your content browser, but you have access to that down here. We have an output log if we need. We have the command prompts. We're not going to play with that. Yeah, a lot of this is going to feel very similar to Unity. The biggest thing is really needing to learn all the different little checkboxes and small choices that you've got to make things happen. So that's just going to take time. All right, so let's just start kind of making a game of some sort. the trick with this is I'm used to having some starter meshes with this, which we don't get apparently anymore, which is really kind of annoying. So we can just drag these things into our environment. F zooms in like previous. This is a huge. Not really sure how that's a door, but apparently. Very interesting. So we're going to just explore this to what we can. Alt and holding down the wheel gives you kind of full control from where you're at. We're going to I'll just kind of modify this play area a little bit. We can go ahead and delete that, change this up a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and come up here to quickly add a shape. We're going to go ahead and add a cube to our environment. It always shows up in really weird spots. Is one of the things I've learned. And as we are interacting with this, we have these different pieces here. And so we can toggle the ability for it to snap to a grid. This just is kind of continuous movement. We can also snap it to the grid, which at that point it's not going to show us much. But here, right, we can actually see it more snapping to the environment. We can also, as we rotate, so we can hit E to rotate like previously, we can snap. In this case, we're doing 10-degree snaps. Once again, you can turn that off and just have free. And then preset scaling. We're just going to go ahead and make a bit of a wall here. And we're going to just kind of make this work. So that's kind of good. So we can go, we do not want 100 at this point. We'll just go down to 5. Bring that all the way up for the most part, and then we can trying to remember the shortcut. If you hold down Alt and drag off, you actually will make a copy, which is kind of nice. Shrink this guy down. We can shift click to select multiple. Go there-ish. Shrink this one down a little bit more again. So what I want to do is we're going to create a doorway at a certain point. All right. So that at least blocks that off, and then let's just go ahead and kind of make this just a hidden area. We're going to delete that one as well. Gonna once again Alt drag off. I'll rotate this. Go ahead and just make kind of a full walled off section here. We'll do something exciting over here at some point. That's probably close enough. Drag off one more. F focuses just like on like Unity. I wish that they were both did not start with U's. Always makes it tricky when you're trying to remember which one you're working with. And give or take. Oops, do not want to drag off another one. I think that's about good. You're not going to be able to get through there, I don't believe. So we play. Alright, now we've got a walled in area. Alright. Escape can stop playing. If you don't want to stop playing, once again, that Shift F1. If you gets you that mouse cursor back. Alright. Okay, where do we want to go? Let's see here. So I think what we're gonna do, let's go ahead and make our first blueprint. We're going to let's add we can duplicate it. We're gonna add kind of like a doorway here. Call that good. Still visible enough that if you know something weird's going on there. All right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to click on our contents folder. We have the ones here, but we're going to go ahead, right click, new folder. We're going to call it blueprints. And then inside blueprints, we'll right click again, we'll add a new folder. We're going to call this door. Everything that we do here is going to be related to that. All right, so in here, we're going to go ahead to do a blueprint. We're going to right click and we're going to do a blueprint class. This is going to be setting up. You see there's a whole bunch of classes that are here. Um, we just want to go ahead and do a blueprint class. And you've got your parent class. There's a whole bunch more classes. We're not going to get there. These are your main ones. A pawn is something you can possess. An actor is just an object that can be spawned in the world. A character has the ability to walk around. You got your player controller. We're going to just go ahead and make this an actor. And we're going to rename this with the naming convention BP_door. Isn't that exciting? And we're going to go ahead and double click on it, which is going to open up our blueprint window. And we're going to go ahead and we've got our three tabs. We've got viewport. This is the visual that are related to the door, to this door or the blueprint. Construction script. We're not going to do too much with this. Event graph is where we're going to do most of our blueprint work. This is node based, so a lot of dragging. The trick with it is just learning the names of the different nodes. That literally is what takes the most time. All right. So for this, we're going to go back to the viewport. We are going to add a static mesh. Actually, we're going to add a let's add a cube. That's what we had. We're going to probably have to modify this a little bit. Actually, let's get. I'm just going to tuck this into over here for the moment. Actually, just take it all the way off the screen. So with this cube that we created, if we go to general, we can see the scale is 1, 2, and 5, 7, 5. So we can do the same thing here. It's so tiny now. It's all the same color. So we can 1, 2, 5, 7, 5. All right. And so we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to make it so that this door is kind of just like a slider. It's going to be able to move. When we click on it, it'll move up out of our way. And so what we're going to do that is we need to add a box collision to it. So let's add, we just start typing in box, we have box collision. We'll just leave it called box, that's fine. And so we're going to want to actually move this up there. We should. I love it when they've changed things. Keep seeing a line every once in a while. There's a bit of it. All right. Once again, it is tricky finding where things are at. So, once we have the box cutter there, we want to actually, under shape, do our box extent. So we're going to increase it 200. We don't need to go that way. We'll bring it in a bit. Doesn't need to extend much that direction. This will go ahead and include it there, and we'll actually give this a little bit more space. We want to be able to interact with it without having to be right up next to it. What you want to get in the habit of doing is compiling and saving. So compiling just checks to make sure everything is correct, and then save is going to obviously save it. And so what we want to go from here, so now we have this, it's going to go ahead and provide that around our door. So let's go in over to the blueprint. We want to be able to make this basically kind of open and close. So we're going to go ahead and click on our event graph. It comes in with the event begin play, event actor begin overlap, and event take. We don't need any of these, so we can actually click, drag, and delete those. All right, and so now if we have access to our box here, and if we scroll down in our details, we have these events that just can be a part of it, which is great. And what we want to look at is, spread this open a little bit more, on component begin overlap. So we can click the plus, and that automatically brings in this starting node for us, which is great. So on begin overlap, so when our actor begins overlapping the our box collider, it's going to allow us things to happen. So we're going to go ahead and on the overlapped, actually on other actor, so what we're going to do is we're going to drag from that node off and let go. And we can start typing in here cast to third, and we want to choose the third person character. So we're sending this to third person character. And then we're going to drag off of here, off the execute, we're going to drag off enable input. One of the things that you might have seen, so if we drag off of here, we have context sensitive. So this is going to bring up all the executable actions that it thinks make sense from where you're going from. So things that are actually there might not show up because of that. So you may have to click off. As you can see, a whole bunch more came on by clicking off context sensitive. And to be able to find some of the nodes that you know you need in that situation. So we're going to go ahead and leave it on for now. So what we want to do is we want, when the player is overlapping our collision box, we want them to be able to press a key and open and close the door. And so what we'll do from here is on player controller, we'll drag off from here, and we're going to get player controller. So one of the things, if you're OCD, as you can see here, it doesn't always line up well. So don't just spend life trying to get it to line up. It's just not always going to work. Also, so you've got your lines here. These are your connectors. You can control and remove it off, right? Disconnect it. You can just alt and click on it and it removes the whole thing. You can double click on it to create basically a node, so you can actually drag off of that and go to different spots. Sometimes people like to use these to move things around in a way. So got some different things there. All right, so we got the player controller. The other thing we want to do, right? So if they're overlapping with the box, we want to allow them to do input or enter it in. But if they're not overlapping it, we don't want them to. So we can go back, click on our box, and add end overlap. So then when they are no longer there, we want them to not do it. So end overlap, what we'll just do actually, we can drag off other actor, cast to BP third person character. And then we're going to, instead of enable input, we're going to disable input. So very similar. The other cool part of blueprints is you get to share things, right? So disable input is also looking for a player controller, just like enable input was. So what we can actually do is we'll bring this down a little bit, and we can just drag off of this node and connect it to our other player controller. So now this node is actually being accessible by both functions. Both cool and a little confusing. Oh, and actually in this one, I'm sorry, we actually don't want player controller for this. We want to attach that to the target. Once again, you want to get in the habit, if you haven't done it in a while yet, compile and save. Just making sure everything is working right. All right, and now we want to go ahead and pick what we want to do to open and close the door. So let's do, we're going to scroll out just a little bit, gives us a little bit of room. We're going to right click on here and we can just begin typing. So we're going to do keyboard, which is going to bring up the keyboard, and then the key, and then let's choose, we'll scroll down. E is kind of nice and close to our WASDA, so let's just choose E. So now we've got when E is pressed, so another function. And because E is going to both open and close the door, we're going to go ahead and from pressed, so when you press E, we're going to do the flip-flop. So flip-flop is going to, whenever E is pressed, so with E we have pressed and released, but so whenever E is pressed, we're going to flip between A and B executing. So the first time we hit it, A will happen. The next time, B. Then we're just going to revert back and forth, which is fabulous. And so since this is going to be working on our door, which is our cube, but let's rename it door for now. We can drag actually door off onto our event graph to get a reference from it. And so what we're going to do, let's actually do this. Let's make it really narrow. All right, let's go to, let's make it more like a door. That'll work. All right, and since what we're going to do, we're going to end up rotating the door. And so, oh, that got crazy. It's going to rotate it just like it is off of here, right? So just turn it on its side. What we want, what we're going to do is we're going to add a cube to here as a child of it. We're going to, for our door, let's just actually, no, that's all right. We will, we're going to shrink this down to just be kind of like the door jamb. We're going to move it over here, and then we're going to attach the door to it. That's close enough. That's what I'm going to call close enough. All right. So now that we've modified that, if we go back to our, we'll compile save, come back here, door still makes sense for that. So what we're going to do is we'll rotate it, so then when we rotate the door, right, the whole thing's going to go in and out. So what we're going to do is from door, we're going to, actually from A, we're going to set relative rotation door. Oh, and that just gives us the door as well. So we don't need this one. If you didn't have that, if you didn't select that option, that would allow it to be there. So relative rotation. And we're going to set this to 90. So when we press it the first time, it's going to rotate 90. And then what we want to do is to close the door when we go the other way. So we can just do set relative rotation again, and then just attach there and leave it at 0. So that's going to put it back into that closed setting. So now if we hit compile and save, we're going to add this up here. If we raise that up to the top, now we've got it docked up here for later. All right, and we're going to go ahead and delete our cube 5. And what we'll just do is we're going to drag our blueprint in. There's our door. We're going to bring it up to fit in. Oh, we don't need to drag off another version. That's pretty darn close. I'm happy enough with that. So now if we press play, click in, we can lower that a little bit. We are now within that range. If we hit E, well, it smacked me in the face. So we can make that switch to -90. If I come over here and I hit E again, it closes the door. Obviously, we can fine tune that a bit. But as I'm pushing E, it is opening and closing. So if we wanted to fix that, what we could just do is do our rotation -90, compile, save, third person. Obviously we can make this door a lot smaller. Also put it a little bit more in the center. And now if we hit play, and we come in, now it opens it away from us and closes the other way. Obviously it's not smacking us out of the way, but that's good. All right. Now we've got kind of a little area there. Let's go ahead and add in an object that we can kick around. Usually I make it a square, but for the first time, why not? Let's go ahead and make it a sphere. Ooh, I kind of want to make it a cone. Let's go ahead and make it a sphere. And we're going to drop this guy right over here. Ooh. Right over here. Ooh, not that far. All right, in physics, so what we need to do is we need to simulate physics. We can give it a mass. If we don't simulate physics, it's just not going to do anything. So actually, I want to unclick that. So if I hit play, look, it's a sphere. Ooh, neat. It's a big old soccer ball, and there's nothing I can do with it. Now, if we go ahead and we click the simulate physics, hit play. Now I can push and shove the ball. Maybe we should play a golf game. All right. So definitely doing that. Mass is going to allow it to have different weights, different movability, which is great. And then what we want to do is, so we've got this now. We won't worry about mass. It's fine. And then under collision, we want the collision presets to make sure that it's a physics actor. So it is. So that's great. All right. So now we're going to let's make it where we have to kick our ball into a pseudo goal. So we're going to, we have our ball, which is great. We're going to, instead of under blueprints door, we're going to actually create a subfolder here, a new folder. We'll call it goal, which you can't see because it's out of the range. There we go. And then in goal, we're going to kind of do what we did before. We're going to right click. We're going to do a blueprint class. And we're going to do an actor for our parent class again. BP, we'll call it goal. And then we're going to go ahead and double click this. And we're going to add under there. Let's go ahead and add, let's add a cube again. And we're going to make this, let's do a different material here because, I mean, that's kind of boring. I don't know, green's been used. Let's continue with the green theme with this. We're going to, we don't need it wide. Let's just make it a little tall. This is going to be our goal. We'll change it from cube to goal. All right, nothing like getting a text in the middle of doing a video. All right, so we've got this. We've got variable. We're going to, over here, we've got the ability to, we don't have to go to our event graph, so we can do it here. We have variables that we can do. So we can add a plus to a variable. So we're going to call this score. If we click on score, the Boolean, we don't want a Boolean. Let's go ahead and make this an integer. That'll be great. We'll compile and save. So we can keep score with this, which is great. And then if we click on goal and we scroll down to our events, we're going to choose on component hit. So when the ball hits the goal, we're going to gain score. So we're going to do this as before. It's going to add it to our event graph, right? which we don't, once again, need these. So on hit, we're going to drag off of here hit from, let's see, where do we want to go here? We're going to from here, we're going to do a branch. Branch is basically a true false. And we're going to, what I'm going to show you, it only works in the play mode. It's not going to work in the build mode. But we're just kind of showing you like the basics of what we can do. And so as we go along, I will show you another way to do this that will work in actually builds. But for right now, this is just going to be good. So what we're going to do is drag off from here on the other actor. So this is the actor that is hitting our goal, and we're going to get display name, and we're going to check and see. Let's go back to here. We're going to call this, instead of sphere, we're going to call this soccer ball, or let's go as the rest of the world would call it, we're going to call it football. No, that's going to get confusing. It's going to get confusing to me. We're going to call it soccer ball. I'm going to copy that. We go back to our goal. From return value, we're going to drag off equal. So exactly equal a string. And so we're going to check and make sure if it's called, the other actor colliding with it is called soccer ball. If it does, we're going to drag this into our condition, right? So we're checking, does it or does it not equal that? This is also why often Blueprints is called the true spaghetti code. The lines go everywhere. And so if it's true that it's called soccer ball, we're going to destroy the actor, and the other actor is going to, or the target of the destroy actor is going to be the other actor. All right. And so what we're going to do then, so if this is the case, right? Oh, I hate it when they go through, so we're going to just move this down. So much better. We're going to, from here, we're going to increment our score. So we're going to drag this off. We're going to type in ++, increment an integer. We're going to drag score onto it, and we are going to get reference to our score because we need to know what the score was before. That's going to allow us to get it, and then what we can do is drag score back on, and then we're going to set the score. So we can then add to the score and set the new score. Then we're going to just make it show up in screen. We're going to do print, oops, I'm not spelling, print text. And we're going to drag off of, so you can see here, it's looking for text as an input. This is obviously a integer. So we can actually, in some cases, drag it there, and it actually will fill in automatically that is converting to text to an integer. So we don't have to do anything exciting to make that happen. All right, and now if we compile and we save, we go back to our level. Let's go ahead, let's make it tricky. We're gonna add our goal in here off of this wall. Can't make it too easy for the player to score the goal. All right. And now we need to click on our goal, which we already clicked on. So click on goal. If we choose physics, we need to do one last thing. We need, ooh, where is it? Ah. No. There we go. So click on our goal. Then we need to scroll down to our blueprint goal. Scroll down in our details to select goal. And then we want to scroll down in physics to simulation and click simulation generate hit events. If we don't have this, we can hit it and it's not going to matter. This is going to actually allow it to actually score the goals and count it. So let's go ahead and hit play. We're going to run over here. We're going to press E to open our door. And then we're going to attempt to push our ball through the doorway. Can't make this easy. And bam, it disappeared. And you can see up in that corner we had a 1. So if you missed it, I'll run it again. Right up in here, it's going to say 1. That's our print statement area. So if we run back in, open the door. I'm horrible. Oh, and there it is, right up there. We got our 1. All right. So, this is kind of a start to Unreal. There's a lot we can do more with it. But I'm going to end this video here. Definitely just give you this brief introduction to it, and we're going to dive more in the second part. So until then, I will see you later.